Technicality of realism. This convention was challenged in order for us to keep the conventions of a professional interview. So using hot lights during interviews, and during Eleanor, sometimes the room was too dark, so we had to use key lights. However, it was confirmed by using no other lights but the natural sunlight when filming outdoors.
Concerns have risen with advances in technology.
Another convention we established was the use of Voice of God. This is where the speaker isn't seen but is only heard. The main convention with the expository genre, as the connection with creating a fixed meaning that paranocytes are wholly becoming a negative influence in the life of anorexic, and the use of Voice of God also helps the audience to connect well with the visualised images and gives them more exposition.
The popularity with media studies courses everywhere shows how important it is to recognise the pernicious effect of the perfection sells ideology. Nowhere is this more true than online. Only one body type is presented in the media and advertisements. Photographs are almost always photoshopped to remove any lines, lumps or bumps that are seen as imperfections. Two-thirds of teenage girls seek help and information online, and half of this group look for a way to lose weight. Pro-Ana websites appear all over the internet at an unlimited access. They are on all social networking sites, Tumblr, Facebook and Twitter feeds, which all put forward having an eating disorder as a lifestyle.
In the amateur documentaries that we researched, stills of extreme thin women and models from magazines were frequently used to shock the reader and point out what is thought to be the cause of people's growing obsession with skinniness. However, because of Beat's rules, this was not recommended. And so we challenged this convention by not showing extreme, shocking images, but only moderate images that supported Miss Gregory's point about them being damaging images.
We use many different types of shots within our documentary. The varying shots within our documentary is conventional, as for a short film, different shots create different perspectives of people's point of view. Our shots range from close-up, medium shot and long shots, and these are used to give a wholly more visualised subject of the matter of anorexia nervosa.
For sound, some diegetic sounds could not be avoided, such as during Leicester, the vox pops, the background noises of people walking by. Non-diegetic sounds are also present, for example, creating the typing and the clicking noises for the keyboard footage. The song Pink also is possibly the most important diegetic sound. It's conventional to have music that has relevance to the topic running through the documentary, and it bursts in volume at the appropriate bits to entice the audience.
Interviews are very conventional within a documentary, as they connote an expert's opinion. Figure Me Out is saturated with interviews, and these are from 3 different expertise in anorexia nervosa. We use these to express the viewpoint from our opinion. This opinion is new media is making it more and more accessible for anorexics to share their competitive behaviour, and although the internet is a fascinating, wonderful connection for society, you have to be careful of the negative influences. We believe through the interview with Charlotte Gregory and the media teacher, Nurse Deborah Warburton and Mads, the young ambassador from the, we have connoted this opinion.
Issues with that in terms of regulation and in terms of your access to material that can be potentially damaging.
It can be a cause because you can see photographs, you can read stories of how people have sort of lost weight quickly, but also it can help people who have got problems with an eating disorder as a means of support for them.
I think it's a very important subject to teach. Part of that is then looking at how new media affects perceptions of ourselves.
As for setups, it is conventional for reconstructions of a particular event or action in relation to the topic of the documentary to be used during interviews and some of the footage. While we did some research on setups and reenactments, the expository genre code establishes realism, and so reenactments would have gone against this. However, we couldn't avoid some setups through the fillers, as we wanted to create imagery more easily in the audience's head.
No place is perfect, and the internet is definitely the same. There are dark places and there are good places, but I wish I had known which one was which.
We developed the convention of realism through incorporating the handheld camera. We used the handheld camera when creating the vox pops, which we ventured out into Leicester's High Cross. We wanted to incorporate this as we needed to establish with the audience that this footage is real and that connotes that we haven't set up the scenes and these opinions from the people are real.
Would you put a picture up on Facebook if you thought you looked fab?
No.
During the interviews, we challenged the convention of altering positions of each interviewee. What else did we do? We confirmed the convention of using a green screen and projected images during the stop motion. In this video, we are going to apply relevant theories in relation to narrative to where possible in our A2 production of a documentary. Quayle's theories of hegemony outline the importance of placing a narrative on top of the real-life problem of anorexia. The dominant idea is that it is common sense for our documentary's purpose of reducing anorexia should be taken seriously or avidly, as fighting it makes sense in terms of survival of the human race. Fighting anorexia means women are kept healthy and therefore able to reproduce. A narrative allows for a broad audience to reproduce these ideas, as the narrative acting as a structure to a causal idea has always been present in human lives, starting at childhood with storybooks and television, and therefore our message will be more easily accepted due to the narrative within our documentary. Challenging our message would therefore be like challenging humans' nature's perception of storylines.
First is the state of equilibrium. We decided to challenge this as we follow through the life cycle of an anorexic. Through the use of the young girl's innocence is intact, but she is vulnerable to disruption. This is achieved in the young girl's very first high angle, in which she is surrounded by props, such as the teddy bear that connote her youth, which we assume to the audience adjacent to innocent. The young girl's vulnerability in the beginning, I think, could have been strengthened more, possibly through more longer footage connoting such so the disruption is more dramatic, more impactful in the storyline, so the disruption is more severe. However, this could be interpreted as a state of calm equilibrium when compared to disruption.
The second distinct transformation of Torod's theory is disruption. Eleanor is made vulnerable to online content. The continuous quick shots from her playing in the playground to viewing social networking sites connote her innocence being disrupted and broken up. This then moves on to the vox pops, which again add to the negative presence of online media. Maddie Conway's story of her battles through anorexia is the main disruption and is presented through her intimate emotions displayed through her speech and actions throughout the documentary.
The third state in Torod's theory is recognition. Eleanor stops being shown in the documentary and is replaced by teens the next medium shot whose innocence has already been disrupted, connoting Eleanor's will similarly follow the same path as she is exposed further to online content. Her removal from future footage could also connote that through recognising the disruption, young girls can be removed from the threat and into safety. This supports our aim of raising awareness so that parents can protect their young children from harmful online content.
Attempt to repair. The dangers of the internet are thoroughly exposed to allow the audience to repair themselves by choosing to ignore harmful content and seek help through Maddie Conway's interview. Her story indicates the potential dangers, such as addiction, allowing the audience to see a possible future of those if they allow themselves to be controlled by the dangers of online voices. Knowledge of the dangers sparks the choice of repair or repairing of others, which is the purpose of all the interviews. The interviews are continuous to keep reinforcing this knowledge of potential dangers and thus keep alive the choice of repair.
Return of the altered equilibrium. After the bombarding of piranha footage comes the what can we do. This reinforcing of the knowledge and online content and how we can control it has restored order. However, it is different, because we now have the option to preserve or restore our innocence or choose to ignore it.
Brannigan's theory can be applied with some relevance to our documentary. Props theory can also be applied parallel to Brannigan's, as the two can easily be applied together in our documentary. First is introduction of setting and characters. Eleanor, as stated in the stage 1 of Toradop's theory, is introduced as a vulnerable victim in the documentary to the later revealed villain, the internet. 2. State of affairs. The voiceover begins with the purpose of doing such, exposing in the beginning the advances in technology, new media, as the burgeoning villain. Eleanor, the victim, has been subject to it by this point. This is shown through the uninterrupted 3 quick shots of Eleanor on Facebook connoting a bombardment of online content onto her young mind. The last shot strengthens this connotation of the bombarding of her mind as it's a close-up profile shot of her face. Props theory in relation to our documentary, however, can be much more easily related. The hero could be identified as Maddie, who seeks to raise awareness of the impact of the internet by making it a reality in her story. Through this, she could also therefore be seen as a hero to the Beat campaign cause of battling anorexia. In our documentary, there are several villains. Piranha, through the voiceover on top of the footage of the Piranha blogs, is portrayed as the villain or false hero. The scrolling action connotes it as a constant threat and seemingly never-ending, which Miss Gregory touches upon. The internet throughout is not necessarily portrayed as the villain, but more a sidekick, as it's what provides a home, the breeding ground for the dangerous online content to thrive.
The internet here could also be the victim, as it cannot control what is created within it. The villain being those who poison the internet's content, creators of Piranha blogs, and potentially Maddie, Nurse Warburton and Miss Gregory, the helpers who strengthen our message and reinforce the hero, which is the voiceover who alerts the audience of the villains within the documentary. The heroine or princess could be the ability to control how the villain, online content, affects you, and knowledge the helper, as it is knowledge that allows the ability to control. Self-esteem and opinions and body image are also potential victims in our documentary. Or the heroine or princess, as they are subjected to the negative opinions voiced about them through Piranha blogs.